If it's one thing that I absolutely love about the gaming industry is this: there's always something to talk about and even discuss, and it could be either good or bad. And unfortunately, it's been quite a bit of bad recently. Check it out. We've seen NVIDIA push AI into basically every aspect of the electronic industry, especially into gaming and anything that requires RAM in the first place, causing massive spikes of actual prices of components across the board, not only for consumers and customers, but also for suppliers as well. We've also seen massive rumors about how PlayStation is pulling their single-player tentpole titles out of PC gaming for the future. Really, that is a bit of a weird strategy, but it is absolutely going to connect to today's story. And thirdly, you've got Valve going around and announcing their Steam machine, even though we haven't had an actual price due to the RAM crisis caused by NVIDIA and so many others. It turns out that Valve is going to take their approach into the actual living room, and people are incredibly excited, myself included. And then finally, we've got Xbox, who has had quite a bit of a tumultuous couple of months as well. Phil Spencer retiring, Sarah Bond just actually leaving, and Satya Nadella adding Asha Sharma as Microsoft Gaming CEO, directly covering Xbox. And the thing is, she's a big AI advocate as well. Even with all of that insane news happening over the past couple of months, it turns out that one thing happened yesterday that really got people actually kind of angry. It turns out Xbox is releasing a brand new console. Well, hold on. Let me correct that. A new PC. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Every single tweet, video, clip, and everything you've ever heard about Xbox no longer being in the gaming industry, every rumor, every pundit claiming they should just pack their things and leave, was effectively wrong. Every time this company just breathes, apparently they just jump down their actual throat. And no, I'm not kidding. Take a look at this clip.
If Xbox exists in 1 year, I'll be shocked. I've said this before, and I'm putting it in the flag in the sand again. There will never be another Xbox. There will not be a next-gen Xbox. There will never be. This is the end. This is basically their funeral. This is the tombstone. Put it on the calendar, right? February 20th, 2026. Rest in peace.
Good old creamy Dreamcast guy. You gotta love it. The guy who claims that Xbox is dead basically 3 times a week. The thing is, though, Xbox has a massive uphill battle. And not only are they going to be having a massive battle against what's happening in the gaming space, not only with the RAM crisis, with PlayStation, with also Valve now, the thing is they're also going to have their own battles to deal with on their new platform of what they're trying to introduce to the actual gaming market. And that's going to be probably their biggest fight yet. According to Tom Warren on Twitter, Microsoft's next generation Xbox console is codenamed Project Helix. Asha Shar says it will lead in performance and play your Xbox and PC games. So this, in my opinion, is incredibly cool. We've been talking about what Xbox has been doing recently, especially with the Xbox ROG Ally X. With Sarah Bond discussing that the future of Xbox looks more like this device specifically, being able to play all of your games across every single storefront in one simple device. Basically, what PC gamers like myself have been having for quite some time. Getting access to Steam, to GOG, to Battle.net, to Epic Game Store, and even Xbox's own PC app, which is going to be what it sounds like the main way that people are going to be interfacing with the new console. Sorry, new PC. But I will say, though, the thing is there's more to this story, though, because Jez Corden made a fantastic article on Windows Central, so let's check it out and see what actually went down. Jez Corden's article says this: Xbox's next console, Project Helix, codename revealed. CEO Asha Sharma reaffirms new Xbox PC hybrid is on the way. Microsoft's next-gen Xbox console comes into focus as Asha Sharma reaffirms a commitment to first-party hardware. The article says this: Project Helix is the name for Xbox's next-gen first-party hardware using AMD's hybrid PC Xbox SoC, codenamed Magnus. Incoming Xbox CEO Asha Sharma revealed the codename just now on X, detailing Microsoft's ongoing commitment to innovation in the gaming hardware space. Former Xbox president Sarah Bond confirmed the new Xbox in partnership with AMD last summer, but Sharma's comments confirms that the new Xbox leadership team will continue with this commitment. So you know what? Let's take a stop right here. If you weren't aware what happened previously before Sarah Bond left Microsoft, they made a massive announcement working with AMD about the next piece of hardware for Xbox specifically. The thing is, though, there were also rumors of not just new hardware on the console side, well, on the PC side, but also of something more of like a handheld as well to be in partnership with it. And that unfortunately was placed on ice, and we got the Xbox Asus ROG Ally X instead. Here's what I think is going to be happening. We're going to be seeing quite a bit of new tech coming down the line, not only in terms for what AMD is going to be putting out, but also with what Xbox is trying to be doing. And here's what I mean by that. You see, Sarah Bond was also in charge of not only having Microsoft and Xbox and Windows, specifically Windows, being the best place to play their games as an actual platform, they've also been discussing other ways of creating backwards compatibility. And I've discussed this before. One of the big draws of actually Steam OS is how Proton works on its actual layers and being able to play many games that are not Windows certified on your actual Steam Deck and even through Steam OS. If Microsoft could in fact continue with this process and pull out the actual stops of having actual backwards compatibility, either through things like recompilation like we've seen before or any other way of emulation, that could be a huge win overall, especially with Xbox Helix being a literal PC, having access to Windows, having access to everything else. The problem though is it's going to have access to Windows, and clearly we haven't seen the best course of action happening with that operating system at all. In fact, some of the biggest criticisms of the ROG Ally X was how it was too much Windows and not enough video game. And I think that's going to be one of the big hurdles moving forward. Xbox has to figure out a couple of things quick and in a hurry. And those things are going to be user interface and control, understanding how a user actually goes through and having a better experience overall rather than the Xbox PC app. At the same time, de-bloating a lot of windows in the first place and providing a simpler ease of use of experience. If Windows is the actual base, then a lot of users will have access to things like multiple storefronts, things like GOG Galaxy, Epic Game Store, Battle.net, even Steam, and everything else across the board. This also points into the direction as to about the rumor with PlayStation as well, on why they would in fact remove tentpole titles in the future coming to PC gaming. If the Xbox Helix could in fact have access to those storefronts and be a Windows PC, then of course you would see PlayStation be petty enough to do that exact kind of thing, which really they've been petty before, so I could see them doing it now. The thing is though, Windows is not the best place to play, especially right now. With 33% of the actual code being written by AI, massive amounts of issues occurring consistently, insane emergency updates having to be pushed out for the platform and OS as well on a consistent basis, and things breaking all the time, that's going to need a lot of headroom and work to be done in the right way to make gaming on that platform a very easy experience overall. Even though consoles are more PC-like now than ever before, a lot of people do not have the time, energy, or patience to Google something. I'm not kidding. People don't want to Google anything in 2026. I know. It's sad. If Microsoft can figure out easier ways of trying to de-bloat Windows, which would be fantastic not only for the people who buy the Helix, but also for Windows users on PC as well, and provide a more stable, available, ease of use platform for everybody to game on, but also have the same amount of freedom as well, that could be a good thing overall, not only for PC gamers, but also for everybody who wants to play their games on their Xbox Helix. Personally, I think what Xbox needs to do is take a huge page or pages or chapters out of Valve's playbook and provide a very easy way of navigating a big picture mode. The Xbox PC app has issues in my personal opinion, and personally, when I had the Xbox ROG Ally X, that was my biggest complaint. It felt too much like Windows and too much bloat in the first place. Clearly, SteamOS is in fact superior on that end. And not only having an ease of use on a big picture mode for Xbox and the Helix, it should also have a dedicated desktop mode that is easier to use overall, giving you full access to all the guts of the system, letting you do basically whatever you want, install programs, install apps, emulate, and do anything across the board. That would be the ideal scenario of what's happening with this space. But the thing is, there's more to the article, so let's go from there. The article from Windows Central says this: officially confirmed details on the Project Helix Xbox remain scant. From our reporting, we know it'll essentially be a gaming PC at its core, with the Xbox full screen experience from the Xbox ROG Ally handheld as its front end. Microsoft is working around the clock to make the Xbox full screen experience for PC feel as close to a polished console experience as possible, taking the view that exiting out to Windows should be entirely optional. As such, Xbox Helix will be the most open Xbox ever. You'll be able to boot up the Windows desktop from here and install other PC stores such as Steam, Epic Games, and GOG, Riot Client, Battle.net, and much more. In theory, you'll also be able to install Adobe Premiere, Streamlabs, and other content creation tools, and even do coding programs and whatever else Windows 11 has available. Decades of software compatibility awaits. That is exactly what I'm talking about. If Xbox can go through and provide a better experience overall, but make PC gaming easier for a lot of people who never got into it in the first place, they would make a direct competitor to not PlayStation, but Valve and the Steam machine. You have a company like Valve who has gained the trust and loyalty of a lot of people, including someone like myself, and people are going to expect a higher level of experience from something like Valve in the first place. If you can go ahead and compete against that storefront and even against that actual OS, you're talking about people not leaving Windows in the first place for something like SteamOS to lose a huge amount of your actual user base. Remember, Microsoft dropped Windows 10 support, leaving an open door for SteamOS to come in and take a massive lion's share of those people. The thing is, though, Xbox is more concerned about the actual platform than they are about the box itself, and that is what people are really refusing to understand. Asha Sharma on Twitter said this: great start to the morning with Team Xbox, where we talked about our commitment to the return of Xbox, including Project Helix, the code name for our next generation console. Project Helix will lead into performance and play your Xbox and PC games. Looking forward to chatting about this more with partners and studios at my first GDC next week. I think what we're going to be seeing next week is going to be a lot of news coming out of GDC, especially with what Asha is going to be saying with other developers and studios about Xbox Helix. The issue I'm seeing, though, is not going to be just the fact that Microsoft is going to be pushing more towards a PC format with the Helix. It's going to be what in fact happens in the gaming space itself. Hell, even the tech space itself right now. How Nvidia and AI have been pushing so hard into that space, causing prices to escalate and rise exponentially. If you have a platform like the Helix that is a PC, a couple of questions in my mind arise immediately. Number one, online. Are people going to have to pay for it? Honestly, they shouldn't. If someone buys a Helix and it's a PC and it runs exactly like what we're seeing with the Xbox ROG Ally X, paying for online should not be a factor at all whatsoever. Multiplayer online gaming should not be a cost no matter what platform you play on. Secondly, components and pricing. We have seen so much happen over the past couple of months, especially like I said before, with Nvidia pushing everything forward and every other major AI company having to pay or buy out massive amounts of wafers of RAM to avoid other companies from having that as well, which causes companies like Apple and etc. to go ahead and pay double the pricing and even having to do long-term agreements with other companies. And that's going to be a massive factor because price is going to be a very fickle thing, especially in the console market. Even though this is going to be a PC, if you have a console that's going to be performing close to high-end GPUs, people have been talking about a 5080, and I want to stop you right there. Stop comparing AMD hardware to NVIDIA GPUs. That's stupid. Don't do that. That doesn't make any sense. That's a really dumb thing to do. But you know what? I digress. If it is going to be somewhat powerful like that, then you can clearly expect a higher price tag overall, which could eliminate a lot of users from purchasing that product in the first place. Kashav on Twitter said this: if it will play both Xbox and PC games, and with the current RAM pricing shortage, I wonder how expensive the new Xbox will be, with the Ghost of Hope saying $899. Honestly, at $899, just put this thing in a barrel and take it out back. It's not going to be functioning in any way capable of what's going to be happening, of what people actually want. That price would be far too expensive for what people are in fact looking for. The thing is, though, the RAM crisis has been causing a lot more problems overall. That's far too expensive for this hobby, in my personal opinion, and I think Xbox should do whatever they can to bring that price down overall as much as possible. $900 would be way too much, especially for someone like myself. No thanks. Out of control. And if you're saying, Alex, you got an Xbox ROG Ally X, yeah, that was a review unit. I'm not paying $1,000 for anything in today's day and age. Y'all gotta be crazy about that. You know who I am? I'm cheap as hell. But the thing is, those are just some of the issues that I'm seeing with the Xbox Helix specifically, coming from a PC gamer who's been covering this for quite some time. The user interface and user experience of Windows overall, the UI itself, the kind of freedom you're going to have, whether or not you're going to pay for online, and even then, the price of the system as well. All of these issues have to be ironed out day one before Xbox even announces the name or anything else about this new console either. But the problem is, it's not just that. It turns out that people really don't like Xbox. Take a look at these replies. Here's Cat Theory saying this: you'd be an absolute fool to purchase another Xbox console. The Ox King on Twitter says this: Project Helix, an AI-focused AI slot machine designed to inshitify everything you know about gaming. Be prepared to subscribe to more AI, more slop, and more shit than ever before. Ultima Shadow X says new paperweight dropped. Dwed Dwagon on Twitter said this: Sony really rug pulled them. Get ready to pay a lot for a device that won't play PS5 tentpole games now. Holy! What did Xbox do to y'all? Jesus, I've never seen anybody hate a company like this more than anything ever before. And people say that I hate PlayStation. Ha! Y'all gotta be out of your damn minds. Look, the one thing I am concerned about is, though, if Xbox does announce the new Project Helix to be AI incorporated, we're going to be seeing a repeat of that entire TV debacle happen again with AI. And Asha Sharma being so involved with AI, that is quite a bit of a big concern. The thing is, though, we won't be able to see anything until they actually announce the system and what it's going to cost or what it's actually going to do. Personally, I think Xbox has a massive road and uphill battle to climb ahead of them, especially with after what happened with the Series X and everything else before it. I think if Xbox can in fact do a couple of things right, like fix the UI, have an actual soul and style, embrace their inner 2000s white boy angst, and put out a lot of games that people want to play that are a bit more darker, a bit more grotesque, and really push the limits, you could be seeing people flock back to this device, especially with having full backwards compatibility and being able to have free online and every other piece of value on that system besides exclusivity, which is what people seem to think is the only thing of value at all, apparently, in video games. It's kind of cringe when you think about it. If your plastic box's only value is exclusive games, then in my opinion, your box doesn't have any value. But anyways, I want to hear what you guys got to say about this in the comments section down below. Are you tempering your expectations about this? Are you excited? Do you want to see what Xbox does in the future with this kind of direction? I want to hear what you've got to say. And speaking about what you got to say, here in fact is the comment of the day from yesterday's video. With Pumpkin Shallow's YouTube saying this: corporations will do anything to screw over their customers by charging us $70 to $80 games and having bad anti-consumer practices that negatively impact consumers. Pumpkin, you are absolutely correct. Hopefully other companies take a page out of Valve's playbook, especially Microsoft with their new console, and provide more actual pro-consumer practices, which would be a good thing overall, and hopefully make other companies follow suit as well. But with all that being said, if you guys want to see more of this kind of content though, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, and even live streams every Saturday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, subscribe to the channel. If you want stuff like Discord access or emotes during those live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. Look, if you don't want to spend the buck, don't sweat it. Just show up Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, live right here on the channel as I wear a banana suit and get insulted by about 800 people. Trust me, it's a hell of a show. Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, live right here on the channel. With all that being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!